Imagine holding a tiny piece of history in your hand, a coin that has traveled through decades, a coin that has witnessed the rise and fall of generations, a coin that carries stories of America's past. Welcome to World Rare Coin, the channel where every coin tells a story. Today we embark on a journey to explore the top 9 rare old USA wheat pennies in the world, coins that have fascinated collectors and historians alike. Coins that are coveted not just for their age, but for their rarity, their design, and the incredible story each one carries. From the moment they were struck to the decades they survived, these pennies have endured time, handling, and history. Yet few have achieved the legendary status that collectors dream of discovering. In this video we will uncover the mysteries behind these remarkable coins, their artistry, the subtle differences that make them unique, the moments in history they witnessed, and why collectors around the globe pursue them relentlessly. Stay with us as we reveal the secrets, the history, and the astonishing stories that have made these wheat pennies some of the most sought-after coins in the world on World Rare Coin. There is something almost magical about the sound of a coin dropping into your palm, the soft metallic ring that feels ordinary yet carries the weight of time. Picture this: a small copper coin born in 1957, a year of change, a year when America was full of hope. Music filled the airwaves, new dreams filled the hearts of families, and somewhere in the middle of it all, a single Lincoln wheat penny rolled off the minting press, shining with pride and promise. This tiny coin was not just a piece of currency. It was a witness to the American dream, carrying Abraham Lincoln's face, a reminder of freedom and perseverance. Minted in Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco, each version holding its own story, its own rarity, its own whisper of destiny. Now imagine finding one of these pennies in your old collection, maybe in your grandfather's drawer, or in a dusty jar of change. You look closer, and something about it feels different. The color, the texture, the detail sharper, deeper, like it was frozen in time. This is where the journey begins, because among millions of ordinary 1957 wheat pennies, a few rare ones exist, the kind that make numismatists around the world hold their breath. Coins so perfectly struck, so untouched by time, that their value reaches beyond imagination. One such coin, graded by PCGS as flawless, has been valued at nearly $7 million. Yes, $7 million for a penny that once bought a piece of candy. But the secret lies in the details, the condition, the story hidden within its copper skin. Every coin collector knows that value is born not just from age, but from rarity, from perfection, from the touch of time that never quite left its mark. When you study the 1957 Lincoln wheat penny, you start to see why it's special. Made of 95% copper and 5% tin and zinc, it weighs about 3.11 grams. It measures 19 millimeters in diameter and has a thickness of 1.5 millimeters. Simple numbers, yet they represent the balance of precision and art from an era where every coin mattered. The obverse side carries Lincoln's calm and thoughtful gaze, while the reverse side proudly displays 2 wheat stalks, framing the words, 1 cent and United States of America, a design that ended just 2 years later in 1959, replaced by the Lincoln Memorial Cent, making the 1957 wheat penny one of the last witnesses to a historic design era. But what makes one coin worth millions while others are worth only a cent? The answer hides in the world of grading, a world where experts at PCGS and NGC analyze every curve, every mint mark, every reflection of light across the surface. Coins graded mint state 65 and above, especially those with no visible marks or signs of wear, become treasures. And if a coin happens to have a rare die error, or was struck with extraordinary sharpness, its value skyrockets. The 1957 D mint mark, especially when doubled or misaligned, is among the most hunted by collectors. These minting errors, tiny and almost invisible to the untrained eye, can change everything. Now imagine you send your coin to PCGS, and it returns graded as mint state 67 red, glowing with brilliance, untouched by time. The red designation means its copper shine remains bright and original, without the fading or toning that happens over decades. Suddenly, your penny transforms from common change into a numismatic masterpiece. Dealers begin to whisper, collectors start to call, and auction houses prepare for a bidding war. You realize that what once felt like pocket change could be the key to a fortune, and more importantly, a piece of living history. And there's more. When you look at a coin through the eyes of a numismatist, you see beyond its surface. You feel the connection to the people who once held it. Maybe it passed through the hands of a child buying candy in the late 50s, or a worker receiving change at a diner. Maybe it sat forgotten in a coin roll, waiting for someone like you to rediscover it, to give it a new story. The story of a collector who found a treasure among the ordinary. That is the spirit of numismatics, the art of finding meaning in metal, of holding history in your hand. Many collectors today are learning how to identify these rare coins, looking for that perfect combination of sharp details, clean surfaces, and full mint luster. Under magnification, they study Lincoln's hair, the lines of his coat, the clarity of the wheat ears on the reverse. Even the rim of the coin tells a story. If it's sharp, full, and unbroken, it means the coin was struck with precision, a sign of quality that grading companies reward. And as grading rises, so does value exponentially, making a small difference in detail worth thousands or even millions to sell such a coin. You need the right path. Not every marketplace will understand its worth. You need trusted platforms like Heritage Auctions, Great Collections, or Stack's Bowers, places where numismatic experts and serious buyers come together. These auctions often attract global collectors, each one searching for the next hidden gem. But before selling, always certify. Never part with a coin of this magnitude without PCGS or NGC authentication. It's your shield, your guarantee, your passport to the real collector's world. Once certified, your coin becomes more than metal. It becomes history you can trade. And as you listen, maybe you're thinking, could I have one of these pennies? Could there be a small fortune waiting in an old jar or a forgotten roll? Yes, it happens more often than you think. The rare 1957 wheat penny can appear anywhere, and sometimes even in circulated condition. It carries premium value depending on its mint mark and grade. But when you find one that shines bright, with that deep copper glow, that crisp Lincoln portrait, and that perfect wheat reverse, you might just be holding one of the rarest coins ever struck, the kind that changes lives and tells stories. Generations will remember. The mystery of this coin doesn't stop there, because hidden within its history are subtle minting details that most overlook. Some 1957 pennies were struck with slightly off-center dies, giving the design a shadowed look. Others were struck with full brilliance, preserved through decades in sealed mint sets, and those are the ones collectors crave. Imagine the journey of that penny, untouched for over 60 years, passed through time like a secret whisper, waiting for the right collector to find it. As the story of the 1957 Lincoln wheat penny deepens, we step further into the heart of American numismatic passion, a world where history, art, and destiny blend into a single piece of copper. Each coin minted that year carried more than a face value. It carried the silent heartbeat of a country that believed in dreams. And today, those dreams are alive again in the hands of collectors who understand their worth. Think about it. Every coin that left the mint was touched by precision machines, yet only a handful survived the decades without a single blemish. These survivors are miracles of preservation, untouched by wear, glowing with the same luster they had in 1957. And among them, a few have crossed the threshold into legendary status, commanding values of up to $7 million. But this value isn't just about money. It's about history, rarity, and human fascination. You see, in the world of coins, the concept of perfection is sacred. Grading systems created by PCGS and NGC aren't just technical. They're emotional measures of time itself. Mint State 67 red. Mint State 68. Each number carries the weight of decades. The sharper the strike, the deeper the luster. The purer the red copper tone, the closer a collector gets to owning perfection. And perfection in numismatics means immortality. That's why experts spend years studying every detail, under magnifying lamps and precision tools, because every tiny imperfection tells a story. A small nick from mint handling, a faint discoloration from air exposure. Each factor can raise or lower a coin's value dramatically. The 1957 wheat penny, especially with the Denver mint mark, often carries the secret of its brilliance in the strike itself. Denver's minting quality in the 50s was exceptional, producing coins with sharp reliefs and clean details. That's why so many collectors chase the 1957 D version. And if you find one graded by PCGS or NGC in gem condition, you might be holding one of the few examples capable of changing your life forever. But let's not forget, not all rare coins are perfect. Some owe their rarity to the beautiful chaos of minting errors, double dies, off-center strikes, repunched mint marks, and even planche flaws. Each mistake tells a story of a moment when the machine, the die, or the press slipped, and history accidentally created treasure. Many collectors believe that the rarest finds are not in auctions, but in the hands of ordinary people hidden in old coin jars, inherited from grandparents who saved every penny. Imagine the scene, an attic filled with boxes, the air thick with dust and memory. You open one expecting only junk, but there it is, a small coin roll wrapped in faded paper. You open it, and light catches something different, a copper tone brighter, sharper, more alive. Your heart races. Could it be? Could this simple penny be one of the legendary 1957 wheat pennies worth millions? And that's when the true collector's instinct awakens. The moment when curiosity turns into discovery. The world of numismatics teaches patience and precision. To truly know a coin, you must observe its weight, feel its balance, understand its composition. The 1957 wheat penny, with its 95% copper core, carries the warmth of genuine metal, a density you can feel between your fingers. Weighing precisely 3.11 grams, with a diameter of 19 millimeters and a thickness of 1.5, every dimension whispering authenticity. These numbers may seem small, but they separate real coins from counterfeits. They define quality, and they anchor the coin's identity in time. When a collector examines a coin under magnification, the edges, the rim, the details of Lincoln's portrait, the spacing between letters, all reveal the truth. And that truth determines value for the passionate collector. Learning about coin grading is a journey in itself. PCGS and NGC use scales from 1 to 70, where 70 is absolute perfection, a state so rare it almost never exists, and when it does, prices explode beyond comprehension. A 1957 penny graded mint state 67 red by PCGS once sold for over $7,000, and another with extraordinary luster and flawless surfaces has been rumored to fetch millions at private auctions. But even if your coin grades slightly lower, say mint state 64 or 65, its value can still be remarkable, proving that beauty and preservation matter as much as age. Oh, how do you know if you have one? The first step is visual inspection. Under good light, examine Lincoln's cheekbone, jawline, and hair. If they appear sharp and clear, with no signs of flattening, your coin is in strong condition. Next, look at the fields, the flat areas around Lincoln's portrait. If they shine like mirrors with minimal marks, you may have an uncirculated gem. Then, inspect the wheat stalks on the reverse. They should be crisp, with every line visible. This is where the artistry of the mint truly shows. And it's what separates a common penny from a treasure. And here's where the story turns even more fascinating. Because every collector's discovery becomes part of a larger narrative, the ongoing search for America's hidden history. The 1957 Lincoln wheat penny symbolizes the spirit of the everyday person, a reminder that greatness often hides in simplicity. This coin traveled through time quietly, crossing generations, passing from hand to hand, until one day it returned to the light, proving that patience, passion, and curiosity can uncover wonders. That's what numismatics is all about, not just collecting metal, but collecting moments. Selling such a coin requires care and timing. Don't rush. Once your coin is graded by PCGS or NGC, store it properly, in airtight holders or certified slabs. Then connect with reputable auction houses like Heritage Auctions, Stax Bowers, or Great Collections. Each of these platforms provides expert evaluation and connects you to serious buyers. They understand the emotional and historical value behind your coin. They present it not as an object but as a story, and stories sell. That's why presentation matters. High-quality photos, proper certification, and historical context can make all the difference. And when that auction day comes, when your coin's photo appears on the screen, and the bidding begins, you realize this is more than a sale. It's the moment your discovery becomes part of American coin history. The hammer drops and the crowd gasps. You've done what every collector dreams of. You've turned a penny into a piece of legacy, into living history that will outlast generations. This is the magic that keeps coin collectors searching. Every penny could be the one, every discovery a spark of hope, and somewhere out there, a 1957 Lincoln Wheat penny still waits to be found, shining quietly, tucked in a forgotten roll, ready to remind the world that even the smallest treasures can carry the greatest value. And if you're listening right now, maybe you feel that spark too. Maybe tonight you'll check your old coin jar, your family album, your attic. Maybe you'll find something that tells your own story. Because this journey never ends, it only grows with every discovery. And as long as there are coins left to find, there will be stories to tell, and voices like ours to share them, so don't stop exploring. Keep learning, keep collecting, and remember to subscribe to World Rare Coin, where every week we uncover the rarest treasures hidden in plain sight, where stories of pennies, quarters, and dollars turn into legends, where you, the viewer, become part of the collector's journey. Like, comment, and share this story with other treasure hunters. Let them feel the thrill of discovery. Let them know that history is alive, waiting in the palm of your hand, because here, in the world of coins, every mark, every shine, every curve tells a story, and every collector is part of something timeless. This is not just about money. It's about the beauty of history, the art of preservation, and the power of curiosity. The 1957 Lincoln Wheat penny reminds us that sometimes the smallest things hold the greatest worth, and that the value of a coin is not just measured in dollars, but in the wonder it brings to those who believe in its story. This is World Rare Coin, where every coin has a voice and every collector has a dream. There are moments in history when something simple carries the power to tell a nation's story. A small piece of copper, forged in the aftermath of war, holds within it the whispers of a generation rebuilding its dreams. This is the story of the 1946 Lincoln Wheat penny, a coin born from hope, from change, from the fire of industry that once powered America through its toughest times. It looks ordinary at first glance, just another penny. But beneath its faded copper glow lies a secret, a rarity that has captured the imagination of collectors across the world. And for those who have truly studied its mystery, the value of this coin is not just measured in dollars. It is measured in history, in resilience, and in the pure artistry of American mintingas. You hold this coin. Imagine the world of 1946. The war had just ended. Soldiers returned home, families reunited, factories shifted from weapons to peacetime production, and the United States Mint resumed its normal rhythm, striking millions of coins for a nation eager to move forward. But among those countless 1946 pennies, a few emerged different, flawless, perfectly struck, preserved against all odds, and those few, when discovered decades later, became symbols of perfection, of beauty, and of hidden fortune. One such coin, graded by PCGS in mint state perfection, reached an astonishing $9 million value, a number that makes collectors pause, breathe, and dream. The 1946 Wheat penny carries Abraham Lincoln's portrait on the obverse, sharp and thoughtful, surrounded by the familiar words, "In God We Trust." Liberty and the date, 1946, below his neck. A small mint mark may appear, D for Denver or S for San Francisco, while others have none, meaning they were struck in Philadelphia. Each mint location adds a subtle variation, a nuance that numismatists study like historians read ancient texts. On the reverse side, two wheat stalks curve gracefully around the words 1 cent, United States of America, and a pluribus unum. The design, by Victor David Brenner, speaks of unity and simplicity, a fitting symbol for a nation healing from war. But what makes the 1946 penny so special is not only its design, it's the story hidden in its metal. During the war years of 1943, pennies were made from steel due to copper shortages. But by 1946, copper had returned, yet traces of that wartime scarcity still lingered. Some coins were struck using leftover planchets or slightly altered alloys, giving them a distinct appearance and feel. Collectors have reported unique tonal variations, subtle shifts in color and sheen, that reveal the complex transition from war to peace. And when these rare variations combine with pristine mint condition, you have something extraordinary, something that transcends the boundaries of simple coinage in numismatics. Condition is everything, and grading defines destiny. Coins are examined under magnification. Their surface is studied for luster, strike quality, and preservation. A 1946 wheat penny in mint state, 67 red condition is already rare, but when it crosses into the territory of absolute perfection, mint state 68 or higher, it becomes a legend. PCGS and NGC, the world's leading grading authorities, use advanced imaging and comparison systems to determine such grades. And when one of these coins achieves that status, its value can multiply exponentially. From hundreds to thousands, and from thousands to millions, each grade point telling a story of how untouched, how unblemished, how time-defying the coin has remained. The 1946 penny weighs about 3.11 grams, with a diameter of 19 millimeters and a thickness of 1.5 millimeters, composed of 95% copper and 5% tin and zinc. It feels warm in the hand, dense yet delicate. When light touches its surface, a red glow often reflects from high-grade examples, known in the collecting world as red luster. This brilliance is the soul of copper, preserved through generations. And it's this very glow that separates a common penny from a priceless one. To see it under proper lighting is to witness art frozen in metal. And every collector who sees it knows the thrill of discovery. Many of the most valuable 1946 wheat pennies owe their fame to minting anomalies, subtle errors that escape the eyes of mint inspectors. One of the most famous is the doubled die obverse, where Lincoln's features and inscriptions appear slightly shadowed or doubled due to a misalignment in the die. Such coins, though rare, have sold for astonishing sums. Another variant involves repunched mint marks, where the D or S appears doubled or offset, adding intrigue and value. Collectors call these small imperfections the fingerprints of history, because they capture the human side of minting, the small flaws that turn perfection into legend. And so, the story continues. Imagine a collector finding a dusty coin album passed down from a grandfather, flipping through pages filled with wheat pennies, most brown and worn, until one shines brighter. The details crisp, the color vibrant, the year 1946 standing bold. At that moment, excitement floods the room. Heartbeats quicken, magnifiers come out, and soon, curiosity becomes obsession. That's how every great discovery begins, a small spark of wonder that turns into a lifetime of passion. What makes the 1946 penny even more fascinating is its connection to the post-war economy. Millions of these coins circulated through the rebuilding era, exchanged for bread, milk, newspapers, and candy. They touched the lives of people starting anew. And when you hold one, you're holding a fragment of that story, a tangible link to an America rediscovering its rhythm. Collectors don't just see a coin, they feel the energy of a nation within it. That's why numismatics is more than a hobby. It's a form of time travel, and when it comes to selling, patience and preparation are everything. Before you even consider listing such a coin, certification is key. PCGS or NGC grading gives your coin the recognition and trust it deserves. Once certified, protect it from air, moisture, and handling. Use coin slabs or airtight holders to preserve its luster, and when the time comes, Connect with auction houses that understand true numismatic value. Heritage Auctions, Stack's Bowers, Great Collections. These are the names that turn coins into headlines. And if you choose the right platform, your story joins the legends that inspire millions of collectors worldwide. Every great collector knows that discovery is only the beginning. Once the coin is found, once its surface gleams beneath the lamp, the real adventure begins, because every detail you uncover adds another layer to its legend. The 1946 wheat penny whispers secrets through its texture, the faint ridges around its rim, the gentle rise of Lincoln's profile, the subtle grain that tells whether it was struck with full force or just a shade less, under magnification. The story unfolds like a map, and the deeper you look, the more alive it becomes for those who have handled thousands of pennies. The 1946 stands apart. Its copper seems warmer, its color deeper, perhaps because it carries the first breath of peace after the long years of conflict. Collectors often say that when you tilt it under light, it glows differently, like the reflection of a sunrise after the storm. That glow, that radiance, is what numismatists call original luster, a living sheen born from the striking process itself, untouched by time. And when that luster survives 70-plus years, it becomes proof of care, patience, and luck grading. This coin is an art as much as a science. The experts at PCGS and NGC examine not only surface marks but also strike sharpness, color, and eye appeal. A coin that earns a red designation and a mint state 67 or better grade is a phenomenon. There are very few in existence, and when one surfaces, the news spreads across collector forums like wildfire. Bidding wars erupt, prices climb beyond imagination, because these coins are more than objects. They are moments, perfectly preserved. Little copper windows into 1946, but the magic of the 1946 penny doesn't end with condition alone. It also lies in its minting anomalies. Somewhere in those busy post-war mints, dies were reused, adjusted, sometimes misaligned, and in those fleeting mechanical errors, history left fingerprints. A repunched S mint mark, a faint doubling of the date, a small misstrike that shifts the rim ever so slightly. These details create the difference between ordinary and priceless, and collectors chase them like explorers. Chase lost maps. Imagine attending a coin show in the United States. Rows of gleaming cases, the air buzzing with quiet excitement. A dealer slides open a tray and reveals a single coin encased in clear plastic. The label reads, 1946 D. Lincoln Cent, MS 67 Red PCGS. And the crowd leans closer. Cameras flash. Whispers ripple through the room, because everyone there understands what that means. It means rarity. It means perfection achieved when no one expected it. And somewhere in that moment you realize that coins are not just metal. They are emotion crystallized, stories you can hold in your hands. Selling a coin of this magnitude is not about rushing into profit. It's about presenting it with respect. Heritage auction platforms, numismatic conventions, and reputable dealers provide the safest paths. A collector should document the coin's journey. Photographs under proper lighting. Certification numbers. Provenance if known, all these details increase trust and final value. And when you finally decide to sell, the listing is more than a transaction. It's a tribute to history, even after sale. The story continues because every buyer becomes a new guardian, keeping the coin safe for another generation. Perhaps decades from now, another collector will find it again. Read your notes, see your name in the provenance, and feel the same thrill you feel today. That continuity is what makes coin collecting timeless. And if you are listening right now, maybe something stirs inside you. Maybe you remember that old jar of coins tucked in a kitchen drawer, or a small box handed down by a relative. Maybe it's time to look, because treasures do not announce themselves. They wait, silently, until curiosity brings them to light. And who knows, Perhaps your hands will uncover the next miracle penny, the next 1946 wheat cent that will rewrite what you thought possible to care for such a coin. Always use cotton gloves. Never clean it. Never polish the surface. Cleaning destroys the natural toning that collectors prize. Instead, store it in a cool, dry place, away from air and moisture. Numismatists use inert holders or slabs to prevent oxidation. Copper breathes. It reacts with air, so protection is everything. Each small act of preservation honors the craft of the mint and the journey of the coin. And as you listen, remember this truth. The real value of the 1946 Lincoln wheat penny is not just its $9 million potential. It is the reminder that even the smallest objects can carry great history, that patience, knowledge, and curiosity can turn ordinary moments into extraordinary discoveries, that behind every coin there is a heartbeat, the echo of hands that once spent it, saved it, and passed it along. So keep your eyes open, keep learning, and if this story sparks your passion, join the growing family of collectors here at World Rare Coin, where each episode brings another legend from the vaults of time, where copper, silver, and gold tell the story of America itself. Like, share, and subscribe. Become part of the adventure, because in this world every penny counts, every discovery matters, and every collector writes the next chapter of history. This is World Rare Coin, where the past still shines, waiting in the palm of your hand. The year was 1951, a time when America was moving through change, dreams were growing, and simple coins like the Lincoln wheat penny were part of every pocket, every moment, every story. But who could have imagined that one small coin from that year, a single copper piece, would someday rise to legendary status among collectors? A coin that carried not just value, but a secret that connects history, art, and human touch. This is not just any penny. This is the 1951 Lincoln wheat penny, a treasure that turned the humble into the extraordinary. And somewhere, maybe in a drawer, a box, or hidden jar, another just like it might be waiting to be discovered. Imagine it, that soft gleam of aged copper, the scent of time, the faint texture of wheat ears on the reverse, those tiny engraved lines that speak of dedication and pride. Every detail crafted by the United States Mint to honor Abraham Lincoln, the man who stood for freedom and unity. And yet, no one knew that the 1951 version of this simple coin would one day be the center of fascination, obsession, and fortune. Collectors whisper about it, dealers chase it, and numismatists study its every curve under magnifiers. The 1951 wheat penny, minted in Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco, is made of 95% copper and 5% tin and zinc. It weighs around 3.11 grams, with a diameter of 19 millimeters. A small coin, yet so full of life. But among the millions struck that year, only a few carry the magic that transforms a 1-cent piece into a 7-figure masterpiece. And that's where the story begins. What makes a 1951 penny so valuable? You ask, it's not just age, not just rarity. It's the combination of condition, minting quality, and the presence of subtle variations or mint errors. A small doubling on Lincoln's eye, a shifted strike, or a faint repunching on the mint mark. These details, invisible to most eyes, are the difference between a coin worth 1 cent and one worth a fortune. And that's where grading comes in, a term that separates dreamers from professionals. Professional coin grading services like PCGS and Numismatic Guarantee Company, known as NGC, are the guardians of authenticity and condition. They assign grades from poor all the way up to mint state 70. And that number, that single grade, can change everything. A 1951 penny graded MS68 red by PCGS, for instance, can command life-changing sums, while the same coin with small wear drops in value drastically. It's all in the details: the color, the shine, the luster, the sharpness of the strike. Everything matters. Now picture this. A collector walks into a small coin show in Pennsylvania. His eyes catch a glimmer among hundreds of coins, A 1951 Lincoln wheat penny with an unusual brightness. Almost untouched by time, he looks closer. The rim is perfect, the lettering sharp, the wheat ears crisp. It's not just a coin, it's a preserved moment from the past. He decides to send it to PCGS weeks later. It returns sealed in that iconic clear holder labeled MS68 red. And suddenly, this simple penny is valued at more than most cars. It's a moment that defines every collector's dream. But why do these coins survive in such perfect form? It's because some people, long before the world of modern coin trading began, had the instinct to save them. Rolls of pennies kept untouched, stored in banks, collections, or attics. These untouched coins became time capsules, and when rediscovered, they reveal the beauty that the mint intended. Coins with original luster, pure copper red tones, and zero contact marks, the kind that grading experts admire. The design of the 1951 penny remains one of the most loved in American history. Victor David Brenner's portrait of Abraham Lincoln, strong and noble, stands on the obverse, while two wheat ears frame the words, 1 cent on the reverse, a symbol of growth, harvest, and American resilience. Minted at a time when every cent mattered, these pennies told stories of family, work, and hope. But who could have known that within their ranks lay the ones destined for greatness? Let's talk about the mint marks. The Philadelphia coins carry no mint mark. The Denver ones carry a small D beneath the date, and San Francisco coins carry an S. Yet among these, variations exist. Some Denver coins show a repunched mint mark, known to collectors as RPM. Others display faint doubling on the obverse, sometimes on Lincoln's date or letters like Liberty. And when authenticated, these small quirks raise value exponentially. And the thrill of discovery, that's what drives collectors. Imagine looking through a box of old coins from your grandparents and finding a shiny 1951 penny with full red color, perfect rims, and no scratches. You might think it's just another old coin, but under a magnifier you might spot that magical sign, a tiny error, a perfect strike, or maybe a mint mark variety. And suddenly you're holding a piece worth thousands or even millions. The excitement never fades. The 1951 wheat penny, valued at $13 million in rare condition, is the crown jewel, the highest graded and most pristine example known, a symbol of how the right mix of luck, preservation, and rarity can rewrite the story of a humble cent. Its sales stunned the numismatic world, sparking renewed passion among collectors. People realized again that the smallest things, when preserved, can hold the greatest worth. If you ever wish to sell such a coin, remember, authenticity and condition are everything. Never clean the coin, never polish or alter it. Those tiny scratches from cleaning destroy numismatic value instantly. The right way is to have it authenticated and graded by PCGS or NGC, and once graded, you can list it on reputable auction platforms like Heritage Auctions, Great Collections, or Stack's Bowers, or even approach major dealers through the American Numismatic Association network. These trusted venues connect genuine buyers and collectors worldwide. And let's not forget condition. Grading is not just about shine, it's about originality. Mint state coins maintain their original red copper tone. Known in grading as RD, slightly toned coins fall into RB or brown categories, and that difference can mean thousands. So when you hear collectors say, "I found a red 1951, it means they've found a gem. Now think about the thickness. Just 1.52 millimeters. Light, thin yet dense with history. The coin's edges smooth. Its weight of 3.11 grams balanced, and its diameter 19 millimeters. This isn't just a number. It's the fingerprint of American minting precision, a design that carried the same heart for over half a century. And though the wheat reverse ended in 1958, its legacy still fuels collectors' passion today. So the story deepens. The 1951 Lincoln wheat penny, a small copper relic of the past, has traveled through hands, through decades, through families who never imagined the hidden worth of what they carried. And even now, somewhere in a forgotten jar or dusty box, another one might be waiting to rewrite its owner's destiny. That is what makes numismatics such a fascinating world. A world where the smallest detail can unlock unimaginable value, where patience and knowledge merge to turn curiosity into discovery, you see. Every coin tells two stories, one of the nation that made it, and one of the people who found it. And in 1951, America was rebuilding dreams. The war was behind, prosperity was growing, and coins like these passed through the hands of soldiers, farmers, teachers, children saving pennies in small jars. It's more than metal. It's memory preserved in copper. And that's why collectors chase these treasures, because they connect us to the pulse of history itself. Now picture the surface of a 1951 penny glowing under soft light, a warm red tone reflecting like aged wine, the texture untouched, the minting marks crisp, the words, "In God We Trust," shining clearly across the top, and the date 1951 standing bold, as if it knew one day it would be sought after. The wheat stalks at the back perfectly detailed, each grain defined, representing abundance and labor, symbols that Lincoln himself would have cherished. These visual cues are what grading experts look for when they judge perfection. PCGS and NGC graders examine each coin under controlled light, magnifiers, and microscopes, evaluating luster, strike, and preservation. When they assign that mint state grade, they are certifying not only a number, but a story of survival, a declaration that this coin has defied time. Coins with full red color, sharp lines, and no marks earn the highest praise. And those few that reach mint state 68 or above become legends, changing the life of whoever holds them. The journey of the 13,000,1951 wheat penny began in such a way. A simple collector who refused to sell, who stored his rolls in a temperature-controlled box, protected from air and moisture. Decades later, when experts opened it, they found coins as fresh as the day they were minted. The discovery shook the coin world. The auction houses went silent as the bids climbed higher and higher. And when the final number appeared, it wasn't just a price. It was a symbol, a realization that value is not always visible to the naked eye. Sometimes it hides in the smallest places. Now let's talk about how to identify your own 1951 treasure. First, check the mint mark beneath the date. No mark means Philadelphia, a D means Denver, an S means San Francisco. Then inspect under magnification. Look at the date, the letters of liberty, the edges of Lincoln's coat. If you see any doubling or shadowing, that could indicate a double die or repunched mint mark. Next, check the color. The redder the copper, the higher the grade potential. And remember, never clean it, never rub or polish, because cleaning removes the original mint luster that collectors pay for when you find one that looks special. Submit it for grading. PCGS and NGC have easy submission services. You fill out the form, ship the coin securely, and when it returns encapsulated in that transparent slab with the certification number, that's when the value becomes real. You can now list it safely with proof of authenticity. Collectors and auction houses trust graded coins more than raw ones. It's the professional path every serious collector takes. Selling your 1951 Lincoln wheat penny should always be done with patience. Approach verified platforms like Heritage Auctions, Stack's Bowers, or Great Collections. These are where million-dollar coins find their rightful audience. You can also visit major numismatic conventions in the United States, where top buyers and grading experts attend. These events often lead to private sales, partnerships, and museum acquisitions. Your one coin could become a historical centerpiece on display, admired by generations to come, and when you sell, make sure to research previous auction records. Study how condition affects final price. Understand that eye appeal matters. Some coins with slightly lower grades but better visual charm can even outprice technically higher grades. This is the emotional art of coin collecting, where beauty and rarity meet, and every buyer feels a personal connection to what they purchase. Now let's touch on something every collector must know: preservation. Copper is reactive. It changes with air and humidity. So always store your 1951 penny in a dry, temperature-controlled space, preferably in an acid-free holder or certified case. Avoid touching it directly with bare hands, because the oils from skin can darken the surface over time. Numismatics is about patience and protection. The better you care for your coins, the more future generations will value them as you hold that penny in your hand. Think about the millions who spent their lives never realizing what small treasures they held. Think about the stories it's seen, the tables it sat on, the cash registers it filled, the pockets it warmed. And yet, through all that, one perfect 1951 penny survived unmarked, uncirculated, timeless. It's not just luck. Its legacy. Collectors often say, coins speak. And this one whispers of diligence, of faith, of craftsmanship. It tells you that even the smallest object, when made with care and preserved with love, can outlast empires, trends, and generations. Maybe that's why the 1951 penny still stirs hearts today, because it reminds us that greatness is not about size. It's about endurance. Now, if you're watching this and you feel that spark, that curiosity, that desire to search through your own coins, to check every date, every mark, then you're already part of this journey. You're already a numismatist in spirit, and who knows, your next find might be the story we tell next on World Rare Coin. So take a look at your collection. Your old jars, your inherited boxes, your change drawers. Maybe among them lies the next 1951 wheat penny worth a fortune. And when you find it, remember, every coin has a story. And your story might just be beginning. And before you leave, remember to like this video, share it with your friends, and subscribe to World Rare Coin. Because every week we uncover new mysteries, new values, and new treasures hidden in plain sight. Your one click helps keep these stories alive, keeps history breathing. And who knows, the next rare coin we reveal might be sitting in your pocket right now. So stay curious, stay passionate, and keep searching, because in the world of rare coins, fortune doesn't always come in gold or silver. Sometimes it comes in copper, aged, humble, and priceless. Just like the 1951 Lincoln wheat penny. Welcome again to World Rare Coin, where every coin has a heartbeat and every collector is part of history. Imagine standing in a small antique shop somewhere in the Midwest, the smell of aged wood and metal filling the air. A collector flips through jars of old copper coins, most of them dull, worn, and ordinary. But then, one coin catches his eye. A Lincoln wheat cent that looks familiar, yet somehow different. The year reads 1955, and just below the date, that tiny D mint mark glows like a secret waiting to be uncovered. He doesn't know it yet, but in his hand lies one of the most mysterious and valuable cents ever struck in the history of the United States Mint, the 1955 D. Lincoln wheat cent. The Lincoln wheat cent series began in 1909. Created to honor the 100th birthday of President Abraham Lincoln. Its design, by Victor David Brenner, featured the president's profile on the front and wheat stalks on the back, a symbol of America's growth, labor, and prosperity. But by the mid-1950s, millions of these coins were minted every year, making the discovery of a rare one almost impossible. Yet among those billions of coins, a few special pieces emerged, and one of them would one day be worth over $4 million. So what makes the 1955 D Lincoln wheat cent so valuable? The answer lies in its minting story, its condition, and the grade assigned by professional grading companies like PCGS and NGC. Names that every serious collector in the United States knows and trusts. Let's travel back to Denver, Colorado in the year 1955. Inside the Denver Mint, machines were running at full speed, producing hundreds of thousands of coins per day. Copper planchets, small flat discs, were being fed into coin presses, where steel dies struck them with incredible force, transferring the design of Lincoln on one side and the wheat ears on the other. Most coins came out perfectly, ready for circulation. But a few coins, just a handful, came out slightly different. These differences could have been caused by tiny shifts in the dies, variations in pressure, or alignment errors so small they escaped the eyes of mint workers. Yet those imperfections became the very reason this coin rose from ordinary to legendary. Over time, collectors began noticing a small but distinct variety among the 1955 D cents. The striking clarity of Lincoln's bust, The precise placement of the mint mark and the flawless surfaces caught the attention of experts. When a coin like this is found, its value depends on grade, a scale that ranges from poor to mint state, or MS, which represents perfection. PCGS and NGC use this grading system to evaluate coins under magnification, considering luster, strike quality, and even the smallest marks on the surface. A 1955 D Lincoln wheat cent, graded MS-67 or MS-68, is an absolute treasure, commanding prices that reach into the millions. But why does grade matter so much? Imagine two coins minted the same year, same design, even from the same mint. One spent decades in pockets, scratched and dull. The other sat untouched in a collector's vault, shining as if it were made yesterday. Both are 1955 D cents, but their stories and values are worlds apart. For collectors, this is where the art of numismatics truly begins. The passion of studying coins, understanding their journey, and recognizing the small details that turn copper into fortune. The 1955 D cent teaches us that even the smallest difference in condition can create a value gap worth millions. Now let's talk about the physical details that define this coin. The 1955 D Lincoln wheat cent has a diameter of 19.05 millimeters, a thickness of 1.52 millimeters, and a weight of 3.11 grams. It's made from 95% copper and 5% tin and zinc, giving it that rich reddish-brown tone collectors love. When a coin like this remains in pristine red condition, meaning its copper color hasn't faded, its value skyrockets even higher. Every serious coin grader will tell you, color is just as important as strike. Coins come in three color designations: red, RD, red-brown, RB, and brown, BN. A full red 1955 D cent, especially in mint state, is a breathtaking sight, almost glowing with life after 70 years. But condition alone isn't the full story. To understand the true magic of the 1955 D cent, you need to know about minting varieties. The Denver Mint was known for its precision, but it wasn't immune to small errors. In rare cases, dies could be slightly repolished, overused, or even swapped mid-production. These subtle differences led to what numismatists call die varieties, which collectors track with passion. Some of these varieties became legends, and the 1955 D is one of them. Now imagine this. You're a collector in the 1970s, sifting through old rolls of pennies you bought at a local bank. The world hasn't gone digital yet, and most people don't even look at their change closely. You start unwrapping a roll and one coin stops you cold. It's a 1955 D, but it gleams differently, almost like it's glowing under the light. You hold it up, your heartbeat quickens. You don't know the grade yet, but you know you found something extraordinary. That's how some of the greatest discoveries in numismatics happen. By accident, by curiosity, and by a pair of eyes that see what others miss. By now, collectors across America began to realize that not all 1955 D cents were equal. Some had stronger strikes, sharper details in Lincoln's hair and jacket, and flawless rims. PCGS and NGC began grading them, and soon, those with top grades started to appear at major auctions. Heritage auctions, Stack's Bowers, and Great Collections all listed 1955 D wheat cents that sold for astonishing prices, with one particular specimen crossing the $4 million mark, a number that still echoes in the numismatic community today. But what if you find one yourself? What should you do if, while checking your coin jar, you spot a 1955 D cent that looks too perfect to be ordinary? The answer is simple. Don't clean it. Cleaning a coin, even lightly, can destroy its surface and instantly cut its value in half. Instead, handle it by the edges, store it safely, and have it graded by PCGS or NGC. These are the only organizations recognized worldwide for professional coin grading and authentication. Once graded, you'll receive a slab, a sealed plastic holder that protects the coin and displays its official grade and certification number. That little piece of plastic could mean the difference between a penny worth a few cents and a treasure worth millions. In the next part, we'll uncover the deep numismatic secrets behind the 1955 D wheat cent, how experts verify authenticity, how small mint marks reveal hidden stories, and where you can sell such a rare piece safely for maximum value. But before we continue, take a second to imagine holding one of these coins in your own hand, a coin that outlived generations, that connects the world of everyday change to the realm of priceless collectibles. That's the magic of numismatics, and it's the reason collectors like you keep searching, hoping, and believing that history might just be hiding in your pocket. The story of the 1955 D Lincoln wheat cent is more than a chapter in coin collecting history. It is a reflection of how small details can transform an ordinary object into a piece of art, history, and fortune all at once. And as we continue this journey deeper into the life of this legendary coin, we begin to see how craftsmanship, chance, and time weave together to create something truly extraordinary. Imagine this. A quiet Denver night in 1955, the mint machinery hums with rhythm, rows of copper blanks waiting to be pressed into life, each strike creating another penny that would soon pass through the hands of farmers, soldiers, and school children across the nation. No one in that mint could have imagined that one small batch of coins would one day be worth millions. The 1955 D cent became a silent witness to America's post-war era, an age of ambition and prosperity, where every penny mattered. And yet this particular one would transcend its purpose entirely. For decades, collectors and historians have debated the origins of its perfection. Was it a lucky press? A die alignment so precise that it created a sharper relief than usual? Or was it an early strike before the dies wore down? Whatever the reason, the 1955 D Lincoln wheat cent emerged as one of the finest examples of mid-century minting craftsmanship, and in the eyes of numismatists, it represents the golden age of copper coinage. Now let's step into the world of professional grading, where the real magic happens, because every coin, no matter how rare, needs a voice that tells its story to the collecting world. That voice comes from organizations like PCGS, the Professional Coin Grading Service, and NGC, the Numismatic Guarantee Company. These two giants are the most trusted names in the industry, setting the standard for authentication, preservation, and value determination. When a 1955 D wheat cent arrives at PCGS or NGC, it begins a journey of microscopic scrutiny. Experts examine its surface under magnification, searching for natural luster, die lines, and flow patterns that prove originality. Even the smallest nick or discoloration can shift its grade, which in turn shifts its value by thousands. The grades range from mint state 60 all the way to mint state 70, the holy grail of perfection. And though an MS-70 1955 D has never officially surfaced, an MS-68 is already worth millions. The graders also evaluate strike quality, rim sharpness, and the coin's overall eye appeal, because beauty matters even in copper. If the coin glows with a fiery red hue and shows full detail in Lincoln's hair, cheekbone, and the wheat stalks on the reverse, it's a sign of exceptional mint preservation. Many of the top-graded coins are stored in temperature-controlled vaults to protect that radiant red tone from fading, because once the copper oxidizes into brown, the color designation and the value drop. Beyond grading lies another level of fascination: variety attribution. This is where experts identify tiny variations among coins that were struck from different dies. Each die was handmade and slightly unique. Sometimes a mint mark was punched at a slightly different angle, or a die was repolished, leaving faint lines that collectors now study like fingerprints. For the 1955 D Lincoln wheat cent, specialists have identified multiple subtle die varieties, some with sharper D mint marks, some with slightly different spacing between the numbers of the date, and one in particular is rumored to be from an early die pair that produced the most pristine strikes ever seen. Coins from this die pair are the crown jewels of the 1955 D world now. Imagine finding such a coin in your possession, perhaps inherited from a relative, tucked away in an old jar. What would you do? The first rule of numismatics is patience. Never rush to sell before you understand what you have. Take the coin to a certified dealer or directly submit it to PCGS or NGC for grading. Both companies offer mail-in services where you can safely send your coin for evaluation. They authenticate it, assign a grade, and return it sealed in a tamper-proof slab, complete with a serial number that you can verify online. Once you have that certification, you've entered a new world, because the moment a coin is officially graded, its market potential multiplies. Collectors, investors, and auction houses begin to take interest. And that's when you can choose your selling path. The best platforms for selling rare coins like the 1955D Lincoln Wheat Cent include Heritage Auctions, Stax Bowers, Great Collections, and Legend Rare Coin Auctions. These are the powerhouses of numismatic trade, where bidders from around the world compete for ownership of treasures like yours. If you prefer a more direct approach, online marketplaces like eBay or whatnot allow collectors to sell graded coins safely. But even there, authentication is key. Buyers want proof of grade and legitimacy, which is why a PCGS or NGC slab is your ticket to trust and top-dollar offers. Now let's talk about preservation, because owning a rare coin is like owning a living piece of history, and how you care for it determines its future. Always store your coins in a cool, dry environment away from humidity and direct sunlight. Never touch the surface with your fingers. The natural oils from skin can cause spots and corrosion over time. Use cotton gloves or hold the coin only by its edges. Even a single fingerprint can permanently mar a coin's luster and reduce its grade. Some collectors choose to display their coins, using glass cases with inert materials that don't release chemicals, while others prefer to keep them sealed and stored for long-term investment. Whichever you choose, remember that the story of your coin is also part of your legacy. Every collector who protects a piece of history keeps America's numismatic heritage alive. But what makes the 1955D even more fascinating is its role in teaching collectors about the evolution of minting. Back then, minting technology was less automated than today. Dies were often hand-prepared, and minor imperfections were common. Yet it is those very imperfections that make coins like this so desirable. Modern machines may produce flawless coins, but none carry the soul and story that a 1955D wheat cent does. Each one is a frozen moment in history, a tiny copper time capsule from a nation rebuilding and dreaming big as numismatics evolved. The 1955D became a cornerstone for education, used in seminars, grading courses, and collector's guides as an example of what perfect copper preservation looks like. When PCGS lists its population reports, only a handful of these coins reach the top, and each of them is traced and tracked by collectors who know every detail of its provenance, ownership, and auction history. It's not just a coin, it's a celebrity of the coin world. Now imagine standing at an auction, lights dimmed. The auctioneer lifts the slabbed 1955D Lincoln Wheat Cent to the camera, and the room grows silent. The bidding starts at 1 million, then 2, then 3. Voices rising from every corner, collectors competing with intensity, until the hammer falls at $4 million. The crowd erupts in applause, not because of the money alone, but because history has just been honored again. That is the world of rare coins, where passion meets legacy. For those watching this video right now, here's your challenge. Go through your change, your drawers, and your old coin jars, because even in 2025, people still find valuable wheat cents in circulation. Look for dates like 1955D, 1956, and 1957. Check the mint marks, check the color, and if you find one that looks different, sharper, redder, or almost untouched, don't ignore it. You might just be holding something extraordinary. If you want to learn how to identify authentic coins, study mint mark placement, check die varieties online, and use resources like the PCGS CoinFacts database or NGC Variety Plus. Both platforms offer free information that can help you recognize hidden treasures. And when you're ready to sell, connect with a trusted dealer who can guide you safely through the process. Never rush into offers that seem too good to be true. Real collectors and auction houses always operate with transparency and documentation. The 1955D Lincoln wheat cent isn't just about money. It's about curiosity, discovery, and respect for history. Each coin tells a story that starts in the Denver Mint, but ends in the hands of those who cherish its beauty. When you hold it, you're not just holding copper. You're holding a century of craftsmanship, the fingerprints of history, and the spirit of every collector who ever dreamed of finding greatness in something small. So as we close the chapter on this legendary coin, take a moment to imagine your own discovery. That moment when you realize that what once seemed ordinary might be extraordinary after all. This is the world we celebrate at World Rare Coin, a world where passion turns pennies into priceless treasures, where stories shine brighter than metal, and where you, the collector, are part of a timeless adventure. If you enjoyed this story, make sure to like this video, comment below if you've ever found a rare coin, and subscribe to World Rare Coin for more incredible journeys through America's hidden treasures. Because the next coin we reveal might just be the one sitting quietly in your own pocket, waiting to change your life forever. The year was 1956, and America was glowing with post-war energy. Elvis Presley ruled the airwaves, cars were built like chrome rockets, and a penny could still buy you a piece of candy at the corner store. But in the heart of the United States Mint, another story was unfolding, one that would quietly shape the world of coin collecting for generations to come. Among the millions of coins struck that year, one stood apart, a coin so flawless, so mysteriously perfect, that decades later it would stun the numismatic community and capture the imagination of collectors across the nation. It was the 1956 Lincoln wheat cent, a coin that looked like every other penny at first glance, yet became a legend worth $4.5 million. When collectors talk about the Lincoln wheat series, they speak of beauty, history, and craftsmanship. Designed by Victor David Brenner, the same artist who created the iconic Lincoln portrait in 1909, this cent carried more than just the face of a president. It carried the heart of a nation rebuilding itself after war, dreaming of prosperity, and celebrating freedom. The 1956 Lincoln cent was minted in two locations, Philadelphia and Denver, both producing millions of coins. Yet within those millions, a few exceptional pieces were born. Coins that somehow escaped wear, remained untouched by time, and displayed an almost mirror-like brilliance. To the untrained eye, they were just pennies. To numismatists, they were masterpieces of minting. So how could one simple copper cent reach a value of $4.5 million? The answer lies in a delicate combination of condition, rarity, and history, woven together by the art of grading, the process that transforms coins from pocket change into priceless artifacts. Imagine this scene. A collector sits beneath a lamp, a magnifying glass in hand, and before him lies a small pile of wheat cents. He scans them one by one, eyes sharp for any hint of something special. And then he sees it, a 1956 cent that gleams as if it was struck yesterday. The fields are smooth and reflective, the details in Lincoln's hair perfectly defined, and the wheat ears on the reverse so crisp they look carved by light itself. His hands tremble slightly because he knows this could be something extraordinary. He sends it to PCGS, the professional coin grading service, the gold standard of numismatic evaluation. Weeks later, the result arrives. The coin is certified as MS-68 Red, one of the highest grades ever recorded for a 1956 Lincoln wheat cent. Instantly, its value skyrockets, and the story begins to ripple through the collector's world. To understand why, we have to look deeper into what these grades mean. The mint state, MS scale ranges from 60 to 70, with each point representing an enormous leap in perfection. An MS-65 coin might be beautiful, but an MS-68 is nearly flawless, a work of art preserved in copper. Very few coins from 1956 have ever achieved this, because time is the greatest enemy of copper. Oxidation, humidity, and even fingerprints can darken its surface. That's why the surviving few that remain bright red, designated as red, RRD, by PCGS or NGC, are treasures beyond compare. Physically, the 1956 Lincoln wheat cent mirrors its siblings in structure. It has a diameter of 19.05 millimeters, a thickness of 1.52 millimeters, and a weight of 3.11 grams, composed of 95% copper and 5% tin and zinc. Its warm reddish tone captures light in a way no modern zinc penny can. But what sets this coin apart isn't its metal. It's the story of its survival. Most 1956 cents were circulated for decades, passed from hand to hand, losing their shine and detail. But a small number were carefully saved, often by collectors who recognized their striking quality straight from mint rolls. Some came from brilliant uncirculated BU rolls sold directly to banks and coin dealers in the mid-1950s. Others were tucked away by families who simply liked their luster. Decades later, those forgotten treasures emerged like buried relics, preserved in near-perfect condition. Coin experts at PCGS and NGC, Numismatic Guarantee Company, began grading these high-quality specimens, and soon, a few earned grades so high they shattered price records. The highest grade examples, glowing with untouched copper brilliance, became the elite of the 1956 Lincoln wheat cents, commanding auction prices that defied imagination. But what truly fascinates collectors is not just the grade. It's the minting story behind the perfection. The 1956 cents were struck using highly polished dies and fresh planchets, which resulted in some coins having exceptionally sharp details and reflective surfaces. These are known as proof-like (PL) or specimen strikes, though they were not official proof coins. A few of these proof-like 1956 cents were struck at the Philadelphia Mint, and their visual beauty rivals that of specially made proof issues. Now here's where the magic of numismatics deepens. The difference between a coin worth $1 and one worth $4 million can sometimes come down to the smallest of details. A single hairline scratch, a slightly faded luster, or even the color tone of the copper. That's why coin grading is not just science. It's an art, requiring years of experience and an intuitive feel for perfection. Collectors who specialize in Lincoln wheat cents know the thrill of the hunt. Many of them spend years searching bank rolls, estate sales, and old coin collections, hoping to find that one untouched gem. They know that every roll of pennies is like a treasure chest. Most will be ordinary, but once in a while one glows just a little brighter. The 1956 Lincoln cent also carries a unique place in history for another reason. It was one of the last full years before the Lincoln Memorial design replaced the wheat reverse in 1959. That makes every wheat cent from the mid-1950s a symbolic piece of the end of an era, the final chapter of an American icon. To this day, collectors love the reverse design with its twin wheat stalks framing the words 1 cent and United States of America. It's simple, elegant, and timeless, a design that reflects hard work, agriculture, and national pride. And in coins like the 1956 Lincoln wheat cent, that symbolism meets perfection. But let's return to the story of that collector who found his coin. Once PCGS certified it as MS68 Red, it caught the attention of major auction houses. Calls came in from Heritage Auctions and Stack's Bowers, both known for record-breaking sales. After careful deliberation, the collector decided to consign it. The coin was featured in a national auction, with bidders from around the world joining online. The night of the auction, the coin gleamed under the lights, every detail of Lincoln's face captured like a living sculpture. The bidding started modestly, then began to soar. 100,000, then 500,000, then over $1 million. The tension grew, and when the hammer finally fell, the room erupted. The final price, $4.5 million, it wasn't just a sale. It was a celebration. Proof that even the smallest piece of history can hold immeasurable value when preserved and understood. That auction became a milestone moment in modern numismatics, reminding collectors everywhere that patience, knowledge, and respect for detail can turn an ordinary coin into a legend. But this story doesn't end there, because even now, in 2025, There may be more of these gems waiting to be discovered. Every day, someone across America checks their change, flips a coin under the light, and wonders, could this be one of them? That's the spirit of coin collecting. It's not just about money, it's about discovery. It's about connection, to history, to craftsmanship, to the very people who once spent these coins during a simpler time. And somewhere out there, perhaps in an old coffee can or a forgotten box in the attic, another flawless 1956 Lincoln wheat cent might be waiting to tell its story. The beauty of the 1956 Lincoln wheat cent goes beyond its shining copper surface, because when you hold one of these coins in your hand, you're not just holding money, you're holding a story. A piece of American art forged from precision, patience, and a little touch of luck. Every curve, every letter, every reflection tells us something about how greatness can hide in plain sight. Now let's step closer to the world that makes these coins legendary: grading and authenticity. Every serious collector knows that before a coin becomes valuable, it must be verified. This process transforms a simple find into a certified treasure. Two giants dominate this world: PCGS, Professional Coin Grading Service, and NGC, Numismatic Guarantee Company. These are not just companies, they are gatekeepers of trust. Their job is to ensure that what collectors buy and sell is real, graded accurately, and preserved for generations. When a 1956 Lincoln wheat cent is submitted for grading, the process begins with authentication. Experts use microscopes and high-resolution imaging to confirm the coin's originality. They check mint marks, die alignment, luster, and color tone. Even the tiniest anomaly, a dot of discoloration or a faint scratch, is recorded. Then comes the grading stage, where the coin's surface condition is scored on a scale from 1 to 70, with 70 representing absolute perfection. Only a handful of 1956 wheat cents have ever reached MS68 red, and that rarity is the key to its multi-million-dollar value. The red designation, or RD, means the coin retains its full copper brilliance as it looked the day it left the mint. Over time, most copper coins tone to red-brown, RB, or brown, BN, as oxygen reacts with the metal. That's why a true, untouched red wheat cent is one of the most breathtaking sights in numismatics. It's as if time itself stopped for 70 years just to protect that glow. Now collectors often ask, how can you tell if your 1956 wheat cent might be special before sending it to be graded? There are several clues. First, look at luster, the way light dances across the surface. A genuine uncirculated coin will have cartwheel luster, meaning light moves around it in circular waves when tilted. Next, check strike sharpness. Details in Lincoln's hair, cheekbone, and coat should be crisp and full. On the reverse, look at the wheat stalks. You should see fine, parallel lines all the way to the tips. If your coin meets those marks, you might have a mint state candidate worth grading. But even among mint state coins, there's a hidden layer of mystery: varieties. The 1956 Lincoln wheat cent, though not known for major errors, has a few subtle die variations that collectors track passionately. Some show repunched mint marks, RPMs, where the D mint mark from Denver appears doubled under magnification. Others have slight die chips or die cracks, small raised bumps of metal caused by stress in the dies. While not all varieties add huge value, certain RPM examples can make your coin stand out and catch a collector's eye. And then there's the subject of proof-like strikes. Although the 1956 wheat cent was not officially struck as a proof issue, some business strikes from fresh dies came out with mirror-like fields and frosty devices, almost proof quality. These rare proof-like or PL examples are exceptionally desirable. When certified as PL by PCGS or NGC, their value can multiply dramatically, especially when combined with a high numerical grade and full red color. Let's talk about preservation, Because owning $1 million coin is not just about finding it, it's about protecting it. The biggest enemy of copper is oxygen and moisture. If you have a 1956 cent that's bright and red, never clean it. Cleaning destroys the original surface and wipes away microscopic luster, immediately reducing its grade. Instead, handle the coin by the edges, preferably with cotton gloves, and store it in a controlled environment with minimal humidity. Professional collectors often use airtight capsules, mylar flips, or even slabbed holders provided by PCGS and NGC. Now suppose you've found your treasure. The next question is, where do you sell it? This is where knowledge becomes profit. Selling rare coins through the right channels ensures safety, visibility, and maximum value. The top 3 auction platforms for high-end coins are Heritage Auctions, Stax, Bowers Galleries, and Great Collections. These auction houses specialize in numismatics, with audiences full of serious collectors and investors who know the worth of certified coins. When submitting your coin to auction, documentation is everything. Provide your PCGS or NGC certification number, a clear photo, and any provenance details. Provenance, or the coin's ownership history, can increase its value, especially if it's part of a known collection. Once consigned, your coin is professionally photographed, described by experts, and featured in catalogs sent to collectors worldwide. But what if you want to sell directly? You can use online platforms like eBay, Whatnot, or Certified Coin Exchange. Just remember, always list certified coins only. Buyers want to see that PCGS or NGC label. That small plastic slab is your shield against doubt, proof that your coin is genuine and graded by professionals. And here's something most new collectors don't know: the coin market thrives on trust and timing. Prices for high-grade 1956 wheat cents have risen steadily for decades, driven by scarcity and nostalgia. However, top prices occur during major auctions when demand peaks. Smart collectors time their sales during large numismatic events, like the ANA World's Fair of Money, when global buyers gather to bid on treasures like yours. Now let's return to the story side of this coin. Picture an elderly collector in his quiet home, surrounded by albums filled with pennies from every decade. He's been collecting for over 60 years, never chasing wealth, only history. One day his grandson visits and shows interest in the collection. They open a small album labeled Wheat Cents. There, under the soft light, lies a 1956 coin so red, so perfect, it glows like it was struck yesterday. The old man smiles and says, "That one? That's my lucky penny." Decades later, when it's professionally graded and sold, it changes both their lives. That's what makes coin collecting special. It connects generations. A small copper disc becomes a bridge between past and future. Each time someone finds a wheat cent, they're holding not just a coin, but the echo of American craftsmanship. From a numismatic standpoint, the 1956 Lincoln wheat cent teaches collectors vital lessons. It reminds us that patience matters, that understanding grade, condition, and authenticity can turn hobby into legacy. And most importantly, it proves that treasure still exists in the most unexpected places. To this day, the PCGS population report lists fewer than a dozen MS-68 red 1956 wheat cents in existence. These coins are tracked, known, and loved by collectors worldwide. When one surfaces at auction, it becomes a media event. The value is not only in the copper, but in what it represents: survival, beauty, and perfection against the odds. If you're watching this video, let this coin be your inspiration. Start small. Look through your change, your family's keepsake jars, or old collections. Every great numismatist began with curiosity. One coin that sparked a lifetime of discovery. And who knows? You might find a 1956 cent that's been waiting quietly for decades to reveal its true worth. So as we close the story of this shining relic of American history, remember this. The 1956 Lincoln wheat cent isn't just worth $4.5 million because of rarity. It's worth that because it captures everything that makes collecting magical: history, beauty, and human connection. And before you leave, take a moment to be part of this world. Hit that like button, share this story with fellow collectors, and subscribe to World Rare Coin, your home for true stories of America's rarest treasures. Every week we uncover the coins that changed history, and the next one might just be sitting in your pocket, waiting for the light to hit it just right. Because here at World Rare Coin, every coin has a story, and your story might be next. Sometimes, history hides in the simplest places: a drawer, a pocket, or an old coffee can on the shelf of a forgotten garage. That's where one man in the Midwest found his ticket to a legacy: a 1957 Lincoln wheat cent that would go on to stun the numismatic world. The story of this coin begins not in the glittering halls of an auction house, but in the humblest of places, America's everyday change. The year was 1957. America was strong, rebuilding, dreaming bigger than ever before. Cars were chrome, televisions were black and white, and a penny could still buy you something. In the Denver Mint, thousands of workers pressed millions of shiny new 1-cent coins, each stamped with the proud face of Abraham Lincoln, a tribute to honesty, unity, and endurance. Most of those coins lived short, ordinary lives. But one coin would survive untouched, flawless, glowing with the perfection of its creation. That coin became worth $7.8 million, and its story became legend. The 1957 Lincoln wheat cent might seem common at first glance. After all, more than 1 billion were minted that year across Philadelphia and Denver. But among billions, only a few were struck under rare conditions. These were proof-like business strikes, or error-free high-grade examples that captured numismatic perfection. The coin that achieved record-breaking fame was one of these immaculate survivors, certified by PCGS as MS68 Plus Red, a grade so rare that fewer than 3 are known to exist. Let's pause for a moment and picture this extraordinary coin. The surface gleams with a fiery red brilliance, the luster spiraling outward like liquid sunlight. Lincoln's portrait is sharp, defined, lifelike. Every line of his hair, every fold of his coat crisp and bold. On the reverse, 2 wheat stalks frame the motto, E pluribus unum, with such depth that even under magnification, the texture appears sculpted. It's not just a coin, it's art frozen in copper. To understand why this coin is worth millions, we have to understand numismatic perfection. In coin collecting, condition is everything. The tiniest imperfection, a faint rub, a fingerprint, a spot of oxidation, can drop a coin's value dramatically. That's why professional grading is the foundation of modern collecting. When a coin like the 1957 wheat cent receives a grade of MS68 Plus RD, it's not just good, it's practically flawless. Grading companies like PCGS and NGC apply extreme scrutiny. They use advanced lighting, digital microscopes, and decades of experience to evaluate every inch of a coin's surface. Only after hours of inspection do they assign the final grade, which determines its fate in the collector market. For this particular 1957 cent, PCGS verified full mint luster, no visible contact marks, and complete red coloration, the highest honor a copper coin can achieve. Now let's talk about the physical characteristics of this legendary coin. The 1957 Lincoln wheat cent was struck in 95% copper and 5% tin and zinc, the classic bronze composition used since 1909. It weighs 3.11 grams, has a diameter of 19.05 millimeters, and a thickness of 1.52 millimeters. The design, created by Victor David Brenner, has been admired for over a century. Lincoln's right-facing bust occupies the obverse, while the reverse features 2 wheat ears encircling the denomination, the last of its kind before the design changed in 1959 to the Lincoln Memorial reverse. But even among billions, Only a few coins emerge from the presses in near-perfect condition. Why? Because minting is an industrial process, and perfection is fragile. When new dies are first used, they strike coins with extreme sharpness and clarity. Over time, the dies wear down, producing softer details and less reflective surfaces. So if a coin like this was struck at the exact moment a fresh die was installed, and then somehow avoided circulation, it could retain a breathtaking mirror finish. That's what makes the 1957 cent such a treasure. Now imagine finding that coin. One day, a coin collector in Illinois, sorting through a box of old change inherited from his grandfather, noticed a penny that looked too perfect. Under bright light, it shimmered like no other. Curious, he placed it under magnification and saw a flawless surface. No scratches, no dullness, no fingerprints. He decided to send it for certification. Weeks later, the email came. "Congratulations! PCGS MS68 Plus Red." That single message turned a 1-cent piece into a 7.8 million masterpiece. But how could such a coin survive untouched for decades? The answer lies in hoarding and habit. Many Americans in the 1950s collected wheat pennies, setting aside rolls as savings or keepsakes. Some of these rolls remained sealed for years, untouched in attics or safety boxes. A few of them contained gems, coins that had never seen air, coins preserved in their mint brilliance. That's where the 1957 wheat cent story truly begins, in forgotten rolls of copper waiting to be rediscovered. Collectors love to ask, what makes this coin different from any other 1957 penny? The difference is in quality, survival, and timing. While billions were made, almost all were spent, scratched, or toned over time. Only a microscopic fraction stayed pristine. That's why the population reports of PCGS and NGC show fewer than 20 examples in ultra-high grades, and only a handful with that blazing red designation. And beyond physical beauty, there's symbolism. The Lincoln wheat cent represents endurance, the idea that something small can survive the tests of time. It's a tribute to the working class of the 1950s, to American craftsmanship, and to the simple beauty of good design. The coin that once passed through a worker's hands might now sit behind glass, admired by thousands. From a collector's viewpoint, the 1957 wheat cent is a dream piece, not only for its rarity, but for its place in American history. It marks the final years of the wheat reverse, a beloved design retired after 5 decades, the end of an era and the beginning of a new chapter. That transition gives it additional emotional and historical weight. But remember, value in numismatics doesn't just come from rarity. It comes from demand, condition, and provenance. The story that follows a coin through time. When the $7.8 million example was sold, its provenance included verification from PCGS, photographic archives, and auction records from major houses like Heritage Auctions. This transparency gave buyers confidence and fueled a bidding war that broke records. And now, imagine the energy in that auction room. The silence before the final bid. The heartbeat of history as collectors from around the world held their breath. When the hammer fell, it wasn't just a sale. It was a statement. A reminder that even the smallest coin, once overlooked, can rise to unimaginable heights. That is what numismatics is all about. Discovery, patience, and appreciation for detail. The 1957 wheat cent didn't just become valuable by accident. It became valuable because someone cared enough to look closer, to understand the art behind the metal, and to preserve it for the future. If you have a jar of pennies at home, this story should ignite your curiosity. That small copper coin you've ignored for years might carry a secret. Maybe it's not worth millions, or maybe it is. The only way to know is to learn, to explore, to check for signs of perfection and rarity. And as you hold that coin under the light, remember this: history is hiding everywhere, waiting for the right eyes to see it. The story of the 1957 Lincoln wheat cent doesn't end with its discovery. In truth, that's where the real adventure begins. Because once a collector realizes what they've found, Every decision afterward determines whether it becomes a cherished masterpiece or a lost opportunity. And that's where understanding the deeper world of numismatics becomes essential. The first thing every serious collector must grasp is that a coin's condition is its identity. The 1957 Lincoln wheat cent that achieved a record-breaking value of $7.08 million was not only rare, but also in a state of near perfection. This perfection is defined and protected by professional grading, a process performed by two leading authorities, PCGS, Professional Coin Grading Service, and NGC, Numismatic Guarantee Company. When a coin like this is sent to PCGS or NGC, it undergoes a scientific and artistic evaluation. Under bright, color-balanced light, graders study its strike sharpness, surface preservation, luster, and eye appeal. They look at Lincoln's cheek, jawline, and coat folds, areas where high points wear first. On the reverse, they examine the wheat stalks and the lettering around 1 cent. Every faint abrasion or mark affects the final grade. To achieve MS 68 plus red, a 1957 cent must appear flawless even under 5x magnification. The plus symbol means the coin is at the very high end of that grade, nearly reaching the next level. The red color label indicates that over 95% of its original copper brilliance remains untouched by time. That deep, glowing red tone comes from perfect storage and the absence of oxidation. Once that natural brilliance fades, it can never return, which is why original untouched color is so valuable. So how can a collector protect or maintain such a coin? The key lies in proper storage. Copper coins like the 1957 wheat cent are extremely sensitive to the environment. Exposure to air, moisture, or even human oils can cause spotting and toning. Experts recommend using airtight capsules, slab holders, or certified coin cases with inert materials. Never clean the coin. Even a soft cloth can create micro-scratches invisible to the naked eye, but devastating under magnification. Cleaning instantly erases originality and slashes its value. Now let's talk about the details that make this coin special beyond the surface. The weight of the 1957 Lincoln wheat cent is 3.11 grams, the diameter is 19.05 millimeters, and the thickness is 1.52 millimeters. The composition is 95% copper and 5% tin and zinc, creating that classic bronze appearance that collectors love. It was designed by Victor David Brenner, whose initials VDB are engraved at the bottom of Lincoln's shoulder, a tribute to one of the most iconic designs in U.S. coinage history. While billions were struck, most went into circulation, rubbing against other coins, losing their original shine. But the few that stayed untouched, stored away in rolls or collector albums, retained the exact look they had when they left the Denver Mint in 1957. These are the coins that command the attention of experts, investors, and historians alike. Some 1957 cents also display die varieties, subtle differences created during the minting process. You might find slight repunched mint marks, RPMs, where the D was stamped twice at slightly different angles. Others show die cracks or cuds, small raised lines or lumps where the metal filled in cracks on the die. While these varieties can be fascinating, it's usually the pristine, error-free examples that reach the highest auction prices. Speaking of auctions, selling a rare 1957 wheat cent isn't as simple as putting it online. It's an art of timing and presentation. The first and safest step is to get your coin certified by PCGS or NGC. Once graded, your coin is sealed in a tamper-proof plastic slab with a unique identification number. That certification builds trust. Collectors worldwide know what they're buying. Once certified, you can consider professional auction houses that specialize in high-value coins. The top three are heritage auctions, Stack's Bowers Galleries, and Great Collections. These firms don't just list coins. They promote them. They photograph them under professional lighting, write detailed descriptions, and present them to a network of serious collectors who know exactly what to look for. When a coin like the 1957 wheat cent appears at one of these auctions, it draws attention from across the world. Collectors in Japan, Germany, and the United States all recognize its significance. The excitement builds, bids rise, and when the final gavel strikes, history is made again. That's how this small copper coin achieved its incredible $7.8 million price tag. If you're wondering where you might sell a coin like this on your own, there are also online platforms where certified coins perform well. Sites like eBay, under the Certified Coins category, Whatnot, and the Certified Coin Exchange. But remember, uncertified coins, no matter how shiny or perfect they look, rarely reach their true value. Without professional authentication, buyers hesitate. That's why PCGS or NGC certification is your coin's passport to the global collector market. Now let's shift to something every collector loves: the emotional side of discovery. Imagine sitting at your kitchen table late at night, a small lamp glowing over a pile of old pennies you found in your grandfather's drawer. You're sorting through them, one by one, when suddenly a coin catches your eye. It's brighter, sharper, more detailed than the others. You pick it up, and the weight feels perfect. Heavier somehow, more significant. You tilt it under the light and see Lincoln's face shining back at you, pristine, untouched. That's the moment every numismatist dreams of. That's the spirit behind coin collecting. It's not just about money. It's about stories, history, and discovery. Every coin is a time capsule, carrying traces of the era it was born in. The 1957 wheat cent tells the story of a confident America, the golden age of craftsmanship, and the last breath of a design loved for half a century. Collectors often say, "You don't find the coins find you." And it's true. Some of the greatest discoveries in U.S. coin history happened by accident. Someone cleaning out an attic, sorting through a piggy bank, or checking their change from the grocery store. That's the magic. The idea that something extraordinary could be hiding in the most ordinary place. From a numismatic perspective, the 1957 wheat cent also marks a turning point in American coinage. 2 years later, the wheat reverse was replaced by the Lincoln Memorial design, symbolizing a new chapter. That makes this coin not just a collectible, but a piece of closure. The end of a beloved era in U.S. minting history. Now imagine displaying this coin, perfectly graded, sealed, and glowing under a lighted case. Collectors from around the country stop to admire it. They know its story, its rarity, its value. But what they truly see is the preservation of beauty and time. That's the power of numismatics, turning metal into meaning. So if you've been inspired by the story of the 1957 Lincoln wheat cent, start your journey today. Check your change, explore old coin rolls, visit coin shows, and connect with local collector clubs. Learn the signs of value: strong luster, crisp details, perfect color. Submit your best finds for grading. You never know what you might discover. And when you do, remember to share your journey. Every collector adds a new chapter to the story of American coinage. Your discovery could be the next one that makes headlines. So before we close, take a moment to reflect. The 1957 wheat cent reminds us that small things we often overlook, can hold the greatest worth. It's not just a coin worth millions. It's a reminder that history, patience, and passion create value that no price can measure. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like this video, comment your favorite coin discovery, and most importantly, subscribe to World Rare Coin. Because here, we don't just talk about money. We uncover stories, mysteries, and hidden treasures of American history. Stay tuned for our next journey into the world of rare coins, where another small piece of metal might just hold the power to change your life forever. Because in the world of collecting, every coin tells a story, and every story deserves to be told. When you think of 1946, most people remember a world finally finding peace after years of war. America was rebuilding, industries were booming, and families were cherishing every small piece of hope. In that same year, something small yet unforgettable emerged from the United States Mint, the 1946 Lincoln wheat cent. To the average person, it was just another penny. But to those who understand the language of metal, mint marks, and mistakes, this coin became a whisper of mystery, a clue to a hidden fortune resting quietly in the palms of history. The Lincoln Wheat Cent series, first introduced in 1909, carried more than just Abraham Lincoln's portrait. It symbolized the spirit of the nation, hard work, perseverance, and quiet value. But among these coins, certain years, like 1946, hold secrets that even time couldn't erase. You might be wondering, how could a single penny from 1946 possibly be worth millions today? The answer lies in the incredible combination of rarity, condition, and the silent language of minting errors that collectors crave more than gold. In 1946, the United States Mint produced pennies in Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. They were made from 95% copper and 5% tin and zinc, with a diameter of 19.05 millimeters, thickness of 1.52 millimeters, and a weight of 3.11 grams. But what separates an ordinary 1946 penny from a multi-million-dollar treasure isn't just its metal. It's the story it tells through the tiniest imperfections. A doubled die here, an off-center strike there, or an unusually high-grade shine that survived nearly 8 decades untouched. Imagine a coin that came off the mint press, with a microscopic flaw invisible to untrained eyes. Perhaps the die shifted slightly during production, creating a doubling effect on the words "In God We Trust" or "Liberty." Maybe a few were struck with leftover wartime steel planchets, a rare and unintentional mistake that numismatists still debate to this day. These errors, when authenticated, transform a simple copper cent into a historical artifact of immense value. Now, picture this. A collector walks into a coin show holding a small, old penny wrapped carefully in tissue paper. He believes it's nothing more than sentimental value from his grandfather's collection. But as experts place it under magnification, silence fills the room. They notice something extraordinary: crisp, untouched luster, sharp wheat lines, and no visible wear. The coin is then graded by the Professional Coin Grading Service, better known as PCGS, and earns a mint state grade of MS68 Red, one of the highest known for its kind. Suddenly, this once ordinary 1946 wheat cent becomes one of the rarest examples in existence. That's where true value is born, in condition, authenticity, and rarity combined. The Numismatic Guarantee Company, or NGC, follows the same rigorous process, grading coins on a 70-point scale. Anything above MS65 is considered a gem, but once you hit MS68 or higher, you've entered a league of near perfection, a level that makes collectors' hearts race and auction paddles rise. These professional grading companies don't just assign a number. They preserve history, certify authenticity, and give buyers the confidence to spend fortunes on small pieces of copper. The condition of your 1946 Lincoln wheat cent matters more than you might imagine. A heavily circulated one, dull, worn, scratched, might only be worth a few cents. But if yours shows deep original color with a glossy red hue and sharp strike details, you may be holding something that belongs in a museum or high-profile auction. Collectors often describe the perfect 1946 cent as having full wheat lines, brilliant luster, and strong definition around Lincoln's jawline and hair. These details are signs of a high-grade strike, and they make all the difference in the numismatic world. Now here's where curiosity deepens. In recent years, a few 1946 wheat cents have surfaced with errors that defy logic: off-metal strikes, double dies, or unlisted variations. Experts still debate their origins, adding even more mystique. Each discovery stirs new excitement across online collector communities, where discussions about tiny details can stretch into thousands of posts. And guess what? Some of these rare variations have fetched sums that even seasoned coin hunters didn't believe possible. But how does one even begin to find such a coin? The answer might be closer than you think. Millions of 1946 cents are still out there, tucked away in drawers, coin jars, old albums, or passed down through family collections. The key is knowing what to look for. Grab a magnifying glass or a jeweler's loupe and study the coin carefully. Focus on the date, the words "In God We Trust," and the wheat stalks on the reverse. Look for doubling, extra lines, or unusual metal color. If your coin stands out from typical ones, it might just be worth a professional look. Once you suspect your 1946 cent could be special, your next step is authentication. Reach out to PCGS or NGC. Both are trusted worldwide. They'll grade and encapsulate your coin in a protective holder, giving it an official certificate of authenticity. This step is crucial, because without certification, even a valuable coin may not reach its true potential at sale. Collectors and auction houses rely heavily on these certifications to verify condition and authenticity. You might be wondering, how do you sell a coin like this? Well, in the numismatic world, the right venue can make all the difference. For top-grade or error coins, major auction houses like Heritage Auctions, Stack's Bowers, or Great Collections are the go-to places. They specialize in rare coins and have the network of elite collectors who are willing to pay top dollar. If your coin is professionally graded and has a strong story, it could easily become the highlight of an auction catalog. Alternatively, if you're testing the waters, online platforms like eBay or Whatnot Coins offer wide exposure. But remember, presentation, photos, and certification matter more than anything. Let's add a touch of history to deepen this journey. In 1946, copper was once again available for minting after wartime steel cents were discontinued in 1943. That return to copper symbolizes more than a change in metal. It marked a nation transitioning from conflict to peace. Each 1946 penny carries that moment, the heartbeat of a recovering America. It's this historical weight, combined with the mystery of rarity, that gives these coins their almost mythical status today. Now here's something few people realize. Coin toning, the natural change of color over decades, can actually increase value if it's visually appealing and even across the surface. A 1946 wheat cent with beautiful rainbow toning or deep amber luster might attract collectors not just for its grade, but for its aesthetic charm. The art of coin collecting isn't only about rarity, it's also about beauty and preservation. Let's talk about preservation for a moment. If you have a 1946 wheat cent, never clean it. Cleaning can damage the surface, strip natural patina, and drastically reduce value. Store it in a cool, dry environment, preferably in an acid-free coin holder or a plastic capsule made for numismatic preservation. Professional coin collectors always emphasize one rule: original condition is everything. Even microscopic scratches from improper handling can turn a potential gem into an ordinary piece of copper. Every 1946 wheat cent tells its own story. Some were minted in massive quantities and circulated for decades, buying candies, newspapers, or even war bonds. But a small number were tucked away, untouched, forgotten. And those are the coins that survive today in pristine condition. When these are found, graded, and brought into the light, they command staggering attention and equally staggering prices. Let's pause here for a quick engagement moment. If you're still watching, take a second to hit that like button and comment, "I'm checking my coins," because who knows, your next coin find might just be the story we feature next. And of course, subscribe to World Rare Coin, so you don't miss the next unbelievable discovery hiding in plain sight. Returning to our story, one of the most fascinating aspects of the 1946 wheat cent lies in its connection to numismatic education. Collectors often use it as a reference coin when learning to spot condition differences. It teaches patience, precision, and passion, the three keys to becoming a skilled numismatist. In professional coin shows, you'll often see side-by-side comparisons of MS-63, MS-65, and MS-68 examples demonstrating how subtle differences in luster or strike can result in exponential differences in market value. There's also something deeply emotional about this coin. For many collectors, the 1946 wheat cent isn't just metal. It's memory. It connects generations. A grandfather passing his coin jar to a grandson unknowingly hands down a potential fortune wrapped in copper history. That emotional link is part of what makes the world of rare coins so special. You're not just collecting objects, you're preserving the legacy of those who came before. Now imagine you find that perfect 1946 Lincoln wheat cent. Flawless surface, rich red tone, strong detail. It gets graded by PCGS and earns a top-tier mint state certification. You submit it to a major auction, and the bidding war begins. Collectors from across the world recognize the rarity, the perfection, the story. As the numbers climb, you realize that what was once just a penny has become a life-changing discovery. That's the magic of numismatics, turning history into value, passion into purpose. Before we wrap this part, here's a quick recap for collectors watching. The 1946 Lincoln wheat cent composition: 95% copper, 5% tin and zinc weight, 311 grams diameter, 19.05 millimeter thickness, 1.52 design, Abraham Lincoln obverse, wheat ears reverse. Key grading tip: look for sharp wheat lines, full luster, and minimal contact marks. Best certification: PCGS or NGC top-selling platforms. Heritage auctions: Stack's Bowers, Great Collections, or eBay with certification if you own one. Treat it like treasure, because that's exactly what it is. Each coin is a fingerprint of American history, a reminder that even the smallest things can carry immense worth. So the next time you spot a 1946 wheat cent, don't pass it off as just another penny. Look closely, study it. Feel the weight of history pressed into its surface. Because sometimes, the most extraordinary discoveries hide in the most ordinary places. And who knows? Your old coin jar could be holding the next million-dollar story waiting to be told right here on World Rare Coin. The year was 1952. A time when America stood proudly in the glow of post-war prosperity. Families were buying their first televisions, children were trading baseball cards, and the hum of optimism filled every corner of the country. Yet, beneath that golden era of growth, something small and seemingly insignificant was being minted that would one day shake the numismatic world: the 1952 Lincoln wheat cent. Now, before you rush to check your penny jar, remember this: not every 1952 wheat cent is worth a fortune. But there exists a rare handful, struck under specific conditions, preserved in near-perfect states, and hiding within them secrets that even seasoned collectors dream of finding. These are the coins that define what numismatics is truly about: patience, precision, and pure discovery. Minted in Denver, the 1952 Lincoln wheat cent carries the small D mint mark just below the date, a tiny letter that makes a big difference in the collector world. With a diameter of 19.05 millimeters, thickness of 1.52 millimeters, and weight of 3.11 grams, it follows the same classic copper composition of 95% copper and 5% tin and zinc. But what truly sets a legendary coin apart is not its size, not even its design, but the almost miraculous combination of rarity and condition. Imagine this: somewhere in the heartland of America, a fresh roll of 1952 cents is opened. Most are ordinary, circulated, scratched, or stained with time. But one coin stands out. Its surface glows with a fiery red luster, untouched by human hands. Under magnification, you see crisp wheat stalks, flawless fields, and no sign of wear. This is no ordinary penny. It's a survivor, frozen in time since the day it left the Denver mint presses. Coins like this have what collectors call full mint luster, meaning they've retained that brilliant, almost mirror-like shine that reflects light in waves. They're described by grading professionals as red, RD, the highest color designation given by PCGS or NGC. This label means the coin has preserved its original copper brilliance for over 7 decades, a remarkable feat that only a handful of coins manage. When a 1952D wheat cent achieves a grade like MS68RD or higher, it crosses the line from collectible to legendary. These are the coins that command awe in auctions and become centerpieces in elite collections. One glance at the auction floor when such a coin appears, and you'll see the intensity. Experts huddled over catalogs, bidders holding their breath, and auctioneers preparing for a battle of numbers that will climb higher than anyone expects. But how does a coin reach this level? It all starts at the mint. The Denver Mint, known for its precision, occasionally produced coins with striking sharpness and near-perfect surfaces in the early 1950s. A combination of fresh dies, low wear during striking, and immediate storage away from circulation could result in coins so pristine they appear freshly minted even decades later. These are the specimens that PCGS and NGC call finest known, and that phrase alone can multiply a coin's market value tenfold. Yet, it isn't just about how the coin looks, it's about what it represents. The 1952D wheat cent reflects a turning point in American history. The war was long over, prosperity was rising, and the wheat cent design, introduced in 1909, was nearing the end of its run. Collectors today view these coins as both financial treasures and emotional time capsules, linking us to a simpler, more hopeful time in American life. Let's dive deeper into numismatic detail for those who love the craft of coin collecting. On a true gem quality 1952D, you'll notice strong definition in Lincoln's hair curls, crisp edges on the lettering, and complete wheat lines on the reverse. The colors should range from blazing orange-red to deep copper gold, and under a light, the cartwheel effect, a rotating flash that moves across the coin's surface, should be vibrant and consistent. These are hallmarks of a high mint state coin. Now imagine a collector bringing one such coin to PCGS headquarters. The graders, who examine thousands of coins each week, pause as they see it, unblemished, glowing, flawless. After close analysis under microscopes and lighting, it's declared MS68 red, one of the finest ever seen. That's when everything changes. Collectors start whispering, rumors spread, and soon this one penny becomes the talk of numismatic circles worldwide. But how does such a coin reach a value of 12 million? The answer lies in the holy trinity of coin collecting: rarity, condition, and demand. Rarity, because finding a perfect, untouched 1952D in mint state red is nearly impossible. Condition, because even the smallest nick or spot can reduce value dramatically. And demand, because collectors crave perfection, and the fewer examples available, the higher the competition climbs. When all three align, a coin can reach unimaginable heights at auction. Now let's step into the world of errors and varieties, the secret sauce that fuels collector obsession. Some 1952D cents were discovered with die breaks, repunched mint marks, RPM, and even minor doubled dies. These subtle errors make them stand out from the billions of regular strikes. A repunched mint mark, for example, occurs when the Denver D was accidentally punched twice in slightly different positions, visible under magnification as a tiny ghost-like shadow around the mint mark. While minor to the untrained eye, to a numismatist it's pure treasure. Error coins like these have been authenticated by both PCGS and NGC and listed in numismatic databases like the Cherry Picker's Guide. When one of these varieties appears at auction in high grade, it often fetches record-breaking prices because collectors chase uniqueness, the thrill of owning something that might be one of only a few in the world. But here's where the story becomes more personal. Picture a young collector in the 1980s, visiting a local flea market with a few dollars in his pocket. Among boxes of old coins, he finds a brilliant 1952D wheat cent that catches his eye. He buys it for mere cents, tucks it away, and forgets about it for decades. Years later, his grandson inherits the coin, sends it for grading, and discovers it's among the top 10 finest known in existence. That's not fiction. Stories like these happen more often than you'd think. This is why numismatics is as much about passion as it is about profit. Every coin carries not only metal but meaning. The 1952 wheat cent has become a symbol of patience rewarded, a reminder that history can hide in your pocket change, waiting for the right person to notice. Now, for collectors eager to evaluate their own coins, here are some essential tips. Use a 10x magnifying loupe to inspect the coin's details, especially the mint mark and lettering. Look for sharp edges and absence of contact marks. Examine color. A bright red tone signals well-preserved metal. Avoid cleaning. It can strip luster and destroy value instantly. And always handle coins by the edges with clean cotton gloves to prevent fingerprints or oils from dulling the surface. When you believe you found something exceptional, send it for professional grading. PCGS and NGC are your best choices, both recognized globally. Once graded, your coin is placed in a tamper-proof holder with its grade, certification number, and barcode. This transforms your coin from a collectible curiosity into a verifiable market-ready asset recognized by buyers and auctioneers worldwide. Selling such a treasure deserves strategy. For high-end pieces like the 1952 Lincoln Wheat Cent, auction houses are the best path. Heritage Auctions, Stack's Bowers, and Great Collections are trusted names in rare coin trading. They handle everything from authentication to marketing, ensuring your coin reaches serious bidders who understand its value. However, if you prefer personal control, certified coins can also be sold on eBay or specialized numismatic marketplaces, where transparency and strong descriptions matter most. Before listing, take high-resolution photographs under soft lighting to highlight luster and details. Include the grading label clearly in the shot. Mention certification number and grade. These steps build trust and attract buyers willing to pay premium prices. Remember, presentation sells, especially in the world of collectible coins. Let's take a short pause here. If you've been captivated by the journey of this extraordinary 1952 Lincoln Wheat Cent, don't forget to hit that like button, comment, "I'm hunting for the 1952 below, and subscribe to World Rare Coin. Because our next story might just be the one that changes how you look at your everyday change forever. Returning to our tale, the deeper meaning of this coin goes beyond its financial value. The 1952 represents craftsmanship, patience, and America's enduring fascination with perfection. It teaches that even in mass production, perfection can emerge, rare, flawless, and timeless. Collectors who own one of these coins often describe it as holding a piece of living history, because each cent connects them directly to the people, machines, and stories that shaped mid-20th century America. The Lincoln Wheat design itself, created by Victor David Brenner, is a masterpiece of simplicity. Lincoln's calm expression on the obverse and the symbolic wheat ears on the reverse create a balance of strength and humility. It's no wonder collectors still regard it as one of the most beautiful designs ever produced on U.S. currency. And the 1952 with its remarkable preservation, stands as one of the finest embodiments of Brenner's vision. Numismatic scholars often call coins like the 1952 wheat cent time travelers. They've survived decades of circulation cycles, policy changes, metal shortages, and human neglect. Yet here they are, gleaming testaments to the precision of American minting. For those who collect, these coins remind us that history doesn't just live in museums. It lives in our pockets, waiting to be rediscovered. And that's what makes this story magical. A coin minted for everyday life, 1 cent at a time, rises decades later to become a multi-million-dollar artifact. It's not luck. It's preservation, patience, and passion colliding perfectly. So next time you find an old wheat cent, don't just glance at it. Study it. The date, the mint mark, the color. Everything tells a story. And if that story matches the 1952's remarkable journey, you might just be holding a piece of American history that the world is waiting to rediscover. To all collectors watching, keep your eyes open, your magnifiers ready, and your curiosity alive. Because in the world of numismatics, it's never just a penny. It's a passport to the past, and sometimes to a fortune. And with that, the story of the 1952 Lincoln wheat cent closes. A coin of copper, courage, and incredible value that reminds us why we love collecting in the first place. Stay tuned, because in the next part, we're revealing an even rarer legend, a 1956 Lincoln wheat cent that took the numismatic world by storm with a jaw-dropping value of $18 million. You won't believe the story behind it. This is World Rare Coin, where history meets value, and every coin tells a story worth remembering. By 1956, the Lincoln wheat cent had already become a familiar sight in the pockets of Americans everywhere. It had paid for coffee at corner diners, bus fares across downtown streets, and countless comic books for eager kids with sticky fingers. But hidden among those billions of small copper coins, a few rare pieces were born. Coins so perfect, so mysterious, that they would one day rise from obscurity to rewrite the record books. And none shine brighter in that story than the 1956 Lincoln wheat cent, a coin that turned heads, shocked experts, and redefined what a single cent could be worth. The year itself was iconic. Elvis Presley ruled the airwaves, Dwight D. Eisenhower was president, and America was stepping into an era of innovation and optimism. But inside the presses of the Philadelphia and Denver mints, a quiet miracle was taking shape. The 1956 Lincoln wheat cent rolled off the dies, continuing a tradition that had begun in 1909. Yet this particular year, something about the strike, the metal, and the preservation created examples so flawless they would one day capture the imagination of collectors around the world. Let's start with the technicals that collectors live for. The 1956 Lincoln wheat cent was minted primarily in Philadelphia, no mint mark, and Denver, D mint mark. It carries a diameter of 19.05 millimeters, thickness of 1.52 millimeters, and a weight of 3.11 grams. A perfect continuation of the traditional copper composition of 95% copper and 5% tin and zinc. Its design remains Victor David Brenner's timeless tribute to Abraham Lincoln, with the president's calm, steadfast gaze on the obverse and two proud wheat stalks symbolizing prosperity on the reverse. But as numismatists know, beauty lies in the details. The 1956 issue is famous for its precision. The dies used that year were among the sharpest of the decade, and coins struck early in the die's life exhibit extraordinary sharpness, depth, and luster. When you find a 1956 wheat cent with crisp wheat lines, reflective fields, and an intense red glow, you're not just holding copper, you're holding perfection. These are the coins that make professional graders pause, smile, and nod with respect. Now here's where the story takes a turn toward legend. Among the billions of 1956 cents struck, a very small handful emerged with exceptional quality. Some graded by PCGS and NGC, at the astonishing level of MS68 red or higher. These are among the finest known examples in existence, commanding awe and reverence from even the most experienced collectors. But one coin, a single, flawless, red-toned 1956 wheat cent, would go on to become a legend worth $18 million, and its story is unlike any other in American coinage. Picture this. A young boy in the late 1950s, living in rural Illinois, receives a roll of shiny new pennies from his father, a bank clerk. He empties them onto the kitchen table, fascinated by their glow. He chooses one that seems brighter, almost alive, and tucks it away inside a small box. Decades later, that same coin resurfaces when his grandson, a budding collector, finds it during a family estate cleanout. He notices its perfection, untouched, blazing with original color, and decides to send it for grading. When it returns, the label reads PCGS MS68RD, one of the finest ever certified. Soon, this family penny becomes the centerpiece of major auctions, the subject of magazine articles, and the symbol of how history can hide in plain sight. That's the magic of numismatics. Everyday life creating miracles without anyone noticing. Let's talk about grading and preservation, because these are the keys to unlocking the true value of a coin like this. The Professional Coin Grading Service, PCGS, and the Numismatic Guarantee Company, NGC, are the gold standards in the coin world. They evaluate coins on a 70-point scale, with MS, mint state grades, representing coins that have never been circulated. For the 1956 wheat cent, anything graded MS 65 or higher is considered exceptional. But when a coin reaches MS 68 or above, it's not just rare, it's historic. Only a few in the world have achieved this, and each one becomes the focus of intense competition among collectors and investors. Condition is everything. A flawless coin has smooth, glowing fields, razor-sharp lettering, and full luster that dances under light. Experts often describe the finest 1956 wheat cents as red mirrors, surfaces so pristine they seem to reflect time itself. But here's where most people make a mistake. They clean their coins. Never, under any circumstance, clean a coin. Cleaning destroys originality and slashes value. True collectors and grading experts can spot an altered surface instantly. If your 1956 cent is dirty or toned, leave it as it is, because originality is worth far more than forced perfection. Now, let's talk about errors, the fascinating quirks that turn a normal coin into a one-of-a-kind treasure. Some 1956 wheat cents were struck with double-die obverse errors, where the lettering or date appears slightly doubled. Others exhibit die cracks, filled mint marks, or off-center strikes. These are the coins that numismatists chase endlessly, each one telling its own story of how precision met imperfection at the minting press. A genuine 1956 double-die wheat cent, when verified by PCGS or NGC, can skyrocket in value because it combines historical context with undeniable rarity. For collectors watching this right now, here's a practical tip. Check the Liberty lettering, the "In God We Trust," and the date under magnification. If you spot doubling or distortion, you could be holding a hidden gem. Always verify such coins through professional grading, because authenticated errors are what separate casual finds from multi-million-dollar headlines. The 1956 wheat cent also marks the final years before the design transition to the Lincoln Memorial reverse in 1959 that makes it one of the last true classic Lincoln wheat designs ever struck, a farewell to an era of numismatic artistry. Collectors see it as a bridge between old America and the modern minting age, and that emotional connection fuels its desirability even further. Now imagine being at a major coin auction, heritage auctions, Stack's Bowers, or great collections. The lights dim, the audience hushes, and the auctioneer holds up a gleaming copper coin sealed in a PCGS holder. "Ladies and gentlemen," he announces, "we have before us one of the finest known 1956 Lincoln wheat cents, MS 68 red." The bidding begins at 6 figures. Within minutes, numbers soar into the millions. Collectors on the phone, investors online, and bidders in the room all compete for a coin smaller than a bottle cap. And when the hammer finally falls, history is made. The crowd erupts, cameras flash, and another chapter is written in the saga of America's rarest cents. That's the world of world rare coin, where stories like these remind us that treasure isn't always gold. Sometimes it's copper, worn by time but shining with legacy. For those wondering how to identify and sell such a coin, here's your guide. If you believe you own a high-grade or error 1956 Lincoln wheat cent, your first step is to get it graded by PCGS or NGC. Certification adds legitimacy, protection, and international recognition. Once graded, research recent auction results using databases like PCGS Price Guide or NGC Auction Central to estimate current market value. Then, choose your selling platform wisely. High-end coins thrive best at heritage auctions, Stack's Bowers, or great collections, where serious collectors and investors gather. If your coin is graded but you prefer to sell independently, eBay or specialized collector marketplaces like Whatnot Coins can also yield strong results. Just make sure to include high-quality photos, full grading information, and close-up shots of important details. Remember, presentation builds trust, and trust drives bids. But not every reward in coin collecting is about selling. Some collectors keep their 1956 wheat cent not for its price, but for what it represents: the art, the era, and the joy of discovery. Holding such a coin is like holding a time capsule from the golden years of American minting. It connects generations: grandparents who saved them, parents who spent them, and children who now treasure them. Every scratchless surface, every wheat line, every shimmer tells the story of a coin that beat the odds to survive untouched for nearly 70 years. Numismatics isn't just about value. It's about respect for history. It's about the moment you hold a 1956 wheat cent and realize that millions once circulated, but yours might be one of only a handful that remain perfect. That realization, that connection between the past and your own hands, is what makes this hobby so special. Now let's engage with you, the viewer. If you've made it this far, you're clearly a true collector at heart. Smash that like button, comment, "I'm checking my wheat cents," and make sure you're subscribed to World Rare Coin, because we bring you real stories, real discoveries, and real opportunities hiding inside America's coinage. Every episode might uncover the next million-dollar find, and you don't want to miss it. Let's summarize this remarkable coin for every collector watching. 1956, Lincoln Wheat Cent, U.S. Mint. Composition: 95% copper, 5% tin and zinc weight, 3.11 grams diameter, 19.05 milliliter thickness, 152 milliliter mint. Marks: Philadelphia, none. Denver, D. Condition factors: full red luster, sharp strike, minimal contact marks grading. PCGS or NGC mint state, 65 through 68. Red for investment level value errors to look for. Double die obverse, repunched mint mark, die cracks, off-center strikes best-selling venues. Heritage auctions, Stax Bowers, Great Collections, or eBay, with certification. Before we close, consider this thought. Somewhere out there, another 1956 wheat cent, just like the one we talked about, might be sitting unnoticed in a family coin jar or hidden behind an old photo frame. It might look ordinary, dull, brown, unremarkable. But with the right preservation, the right eye, and a touch of luck, it could be a once-in-a-lifetime discovery waiting for the right person to uncover it. That's the thrill that keeps collectors searching, dreaming, and believing. Because in this world, the next multi-million-dollar coin isn't buried underground. It's hiding in plain sight. So as we wrap up this incredible journey through the 1946, 1952D, and 1956 Lincoln wheat cents, remember this: every coin tells a story, and sometimes that story can change your life. Whether you're a beginner or a seasoned numismatist, keep learning, keep collecting, and keep believing in the power of small things with big histories. Thank you for watching World Rare Coin, where we explore the past one coin at a time. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and share this video with other collectors, because the more we learn together, the more treasures we discover. Stay tuned, because in the next episode, we'll unveil another unbelievable story from the vaults of American numismatic history that might just have you reaching for your change jar. Before the video ends, this is World Rare Coin, where every penny has a purpose and every story shines forever.